Good morning, good evening, or good night, folks. I'm your host, Simon Redhand, and welcome back to Gaming Red-Handed. Today, we're going to be covering some of the updates the devs have put out throughout the week. They've given us some new information on the upcoming Wave Winter event, some announcements on how they plan on handling the exploits and the cheaters going on in a new PvP Prismverse clash, and of course, they've sent out some more surveys that they want players to go ahead and get through. So we're going to be covering all of that. If you guys head over to the Dev Talk section of the Discord, you'll see that they released a new interview discussing the details of the upcoming Way of Winter event. They basically gave us a nice outline of how things are going to play out come October 17th. They let us know the duration, 5 phases this time around. 4 of the phases are the active phase, with the 5th one being the settlement phase. The phases are going to be broken into varying length, with the first phase being 7 days long, the second phase being 8 days long, phase 3 and 4 both being 10 days long, and then the last phase, the settlement phase, phase 5 being 28 days long. They let us know that in the first phase, we'll have access to the new survival mechanic itself. We know that there's some hints that we're going to have to deal with cold and heat. We don't know how exactly we go about dealing with that just yet, but that's part of the new survival mechanic. We're going to have access to 2 new banners, which is going to be the Venue 4 and the Onyx Tundra banners. We're not sure what weapons are going to be in there, but also they're going to be regressing back to their usual system of locking out the map. I don't know why they keep doing this. I sincerely hate this mechanic. I don't like the fact that every new season starts, we don't have access to all the dungeons. This time around, they say we have access to securement silos on phase 1. There's no mention of monoliths, so I don't even know we have access to monoliths. We can assume we're going to have access to at least Ravenous Hunter, but it doesn't say it here at all. So if you go in there, we don't have it, don't be surprised. We also have access to Hale's Moving House and other public crises. We don't know which ones. I'm going to assume Where Does Disco Go? And I think Dig to Hell would also be available because those are also early game events. I'm not sure if there's any new events yet because they didn't mention it in this phase. In phase 2, which is 8 days long, we're going to have some more survival mechanic. It might be the heat aspect or the cold aspect. We're not sure they're introducing them both at the same time, or one for week 1 and the other for week 2. We're going to have access to hard modes. Yay, clap for that. We're going to have access to stuff we already know how to do. The only content worth starting at. We're going to have access to a new area called the Ember Strand. New seasonal objectives. Eliminate the Chaos Weaver, which I assume is going to be the new boss of this event. Then we're going to have access to banners Destructive Flame and Blazing Fire. Phase 3 is going to be 10 days long. We're going to have access to pro mode at that time. We're going to have another seasonal task upgrade to eliminate the Chaos Weaver. I'm guessing the difficulty is going to go up. In my mind, I'm picturing this to be similar to the way they did Prime Wars, with the first week giving us easy, the second week giving us hard, third week giving us pro and nightmare, so on and so forth. Phase 4 is going to be 10 days long, and it's going to have a new event, Frost and Flame. We're not sure what that's going to be. And then we're going to have the highest level Chaos Weaver spawn, which kind of feeds into my theory that that's going to give us access to Nightmare Chaos Weaver. We're going to have to also build and protect Wonders, Thermal Towers, seasonal objectives. I'm kind of hoping this is a more structured version of Prime Wars, where we're not just letting players jump in there and haphazardly build whatever they want. I'm hoping it's more of a bring these level of materials to us. We need 10,000 wood. We need 100,000 tungsten ingots, whatever the heck it is. And we have to work together as a community to kind of build together whatever this wonder is they want us to build and then protect. We're going to have access to 2 more banners, Tranquil Frost and Frost Domain. And then in phase 5 is just going to be the settlement phase. Now, the new banners are going to come with several blueprints. The blueprints they've outlined so far with no details or screenshots of what these look like. Armor blueprints, which are going to be the snow camouflage gloves, the Blackstone hood, the Blackstone jacket, the Blackstone shoes, and the Fire Rune boots. And then these weapon blueprints, which will be the Tranquil Frost and the Destructive Flame. I don't know what these weapons are. I've been looking on the Reddit. I've been looking on the Discord. I'm not able to find in-depth details of what kind of guns they are, what the effects are, what they do. So we're all going to be surprised together. I'm going to assume that they're going to do another one of those Dev Talk interviews in a week or so before the actual launch of the event, and then from there we're going to figure out what it is we're actually looking for. They've also gone ahead and taken the time to explain the blueprint conversion system, which is going to be a new system that's going to allow us to move stars from one set of blueprints to another set of blueprints. This is for the players who are worried about this new season coming in with new weapons and new armors, and we just invested invested all these fragments into our old weapons and we're going to start from zero. No, this is going to be something to kind of bridge that gap. It unlocks on the 17th when the Way of Winter season starts, but if you don't join the Way of Winter server, your server, which means any of the PvP servers or the currently ongoing PvE servers, will have access to the blueprint conversion once you have a character that hits level 40. But how this system works is very simple actually. The blueprint conversion attempts, which is their word, allows you to swap the star levels of any unlocked blueprint with another blueprint of the same rarity and gear type, weapons or armor, which sounds to me like it means that you'll be able to swap blue to blue, purple to purple, gold to gold, as long as they are matching rarities. And it also sounds like it means like you'll be able to swap a blue weapon with a blue armor, purple weapon with a purple armor, gold armor with a gold weapon, so on and so forth, which if that's the case, that's okay. It outlines the cost of each attempt will cost one blueprint conversion attempt. That's the phrase they keep using, attempt. So we don't know if this is gonna be RNG. We don't know if this means that when you use a blueprint conversion attempt that you have a chance to fail or not, because they keep calling it attempts. They say the attempts will recover at the start of each season and at a set time each week, and of course they left the door open for whenever they feel they need to balance it. So they might change the number of attempts we get at the end of the season, throughout the season. We don't know just yet. Also, if you head over to the game news section of the Discord, you'll notice that they have a new announcement up. Now I'm going to read this verbatim so there's no mistakes of what's going on here, and then we'll talk about the details. They say, "Dear Metas, the Prismverse Clash scenario is designed to give you a fun faction-based battle experience where the goal is to lead your faction to final victory. However, we've recently received feedback about some players exploiting terrain features such as mountains and bodies of water to become invisible or nearly invincible while securing prism deviations. This behavior severely undermines the fairness and enjoyment of the game. We will soon be introducing a detection system for prism deviations. Prism deviations will no longer be able to be placed in securement units in water. To maintain fairness and order in the game, we will take strict action against these violations. Specifically, the following penalties will be enforced once these violations are confirmed. All points for the offending character will be wiped, and the account will be banned for a minimum of 30 days. For severe cases, bans can last up to 10 years. We will investigate any associated accounts, and if they are found to be connected, appropriate actions will be taken on all accounts involved. If you come across any players violating the rules, here's how you can report them. Step 1, enter the territory of the offending player and take a clear screenshot or photo of the violation in action. Step 2, press escape, go to the top right corner to access customer support, and submit a report with the relevant information and screenshot. We hope all metas will follow the game rules and help maintain a fair and fun environment for everybody. Thank you for your understanding and support." Now, this is very important. There's a lot of exploits going on with this Prismverse Clash scenario. As you know, PvPers, any easy way out they can find, they're going to take it. There's no real honor in the PvP community from what I can find. You don't agree with me? Feel free to debate me in the comments on that one. If you guys didn't know, there were certain exploits going on. There's stuff where players are building their containers underwater, which they've mentioned specifically here. There's also exploits where players are building their securement chambers in the mountains and stuff like that. When you moved your base a certain way, it would clip under the terrain and you'd be able to get your free securements that way. They're also doing things such as when you place them in the mountains in certain terrains, you weren't able to actually see the location because due to clipping and visual issues and other various exploits. And that's just in regards to the prism deviations. There are a whole other slew of exploits that are currently running around that the devs need to also address with this new system coming up here, such as players being able to sidle up to a person's base in their vehicle and then get out and be inside the base due to clipping issues. Players currently jumping into Eternal Land to use the artisan's hand to repair their gear for free, and the list goes on and on. There's a whole bunch of issues that players are currently exploiting the game with that need to be addressed. Players being able to place their base in places that should not be able to place their base since they're stronghold violations. Since there are rules where your base can be placed, it'll say your base not allowed to be placed near a stronghold border, yet people have their bases near a stronghold border. You're not allowed to build your base inside event zones, yet people will have campsites inside event zones. Let's not forget the floating bases. There's a whole section in the build section that people are building their floating starships, floating spaceships, and it's all very adorable and cute when you look at it. But in a PvP server, having a base that's off the ground that you cannot access is an exploit. Even in a PvE server, it's an exploit, even though you're only using it to exploit territory purification, which is very easy. As people like to say, it's so simple, you can automatically AFK it with turrets. Well, good. go do that. Go use turrets to do it. But as soon as you start using a base that's breaking pathing, you're exploiting the game. It's very cut and dry how exploits work. Is it intentional? Yes. No, it's not intentional. Okay, it's an exploit. And the list goes on and on. It almost feels like the devs kind of didn't pay attention to this one, and being a PvP game that they want to make the focus, they should have had anti-cheats in order. They should have had an active online GM presence in order, so that when these violations arise, those active GMs in game could be dealing with those on the fly. But right now there's a whole other slew of issues that you gotta deal with, right? The fact that the lag is unbearable. I tried to do some PvP earlier to try to get some footage for the video, for some B-roll. Basically catastrophic. The game would just freeze, rubber banding like crazy. The game would eventually just kick you out the server because the lag was untenable. And then you just read chat and people are complaining about deviants being captured, not being able to move, all this stuff here. So it's on top of the exploits. You can't even have a competitive match because there's so much lag. And this lag has been going on since week 1, day 1. I don't know what they're doing. They're clearly getting money coming in, because I've seen plenty of speedy wings driving around. I've seen plenty of pyroglides driving around. The people are spending money. Are they putting that money back into the game? It does not appear to be the case right now. I am not seeing it reflected at all. I'm not seeing that money going back into server infrastructure. I'm not seeing that money going back into improving the game mechanics. I'm not seeing that investment going back into the product. All I am seeing on a consistent basis are more items for the item mall. Also, that game news section here, they released a new request for metas to do another survey, which if you guys are playing game right now and you're active, that is 3 separate surveys that have come out this week. The first one focusing on PvP, this one now focusing on how people feel the game in general. I've answered every one of these surveys. I've not missed a survey that's come out. I don't know what's being reflected from these surveys. I don't know if they're taking advice from them, because I haven't seen any changes implemented in season 2. Perhaps we'll see some changes implemented when the winter season comes out, but I don't know what they're doing with this survey. I don't know why they keep asking them, because I'm not seeing any of the feedback reflected here. If you don't know, this is their feedback desk on the Discord here. When you come on the Discord, you're allowed to basically, this handles everything. You come here, report bugs, report cheaters, in-game customer support, and also make suggestions. And when you come here to make suggestions, it does bring you to another section of the Discord. You click here, it lets you pop in, you make your own suggestion here, and you'll see it show up in the suggestion voting area, where you'll see everybody else's suggestions that have been made in that time. At the top here, you notice here your subsections here, such as this section here. You'll notice it'll say submitted, reviewed, planned, and this is kind of letting us know that these have been submitted. What are they going to review? What do they plan on implementing? This all seems fantastic on its face. Now you see there's a bunch of stuff submitted. Everyone here is making suggestions. A lot of people who are very dedicated to the game. They want to make sure it succeeds. There are thousands of suggestions here. There's absolutely nothing in the reviewed section. There's absolutely nothing in the planned section. Are these just a pit for your ideas to go and die? Is this all about placation? Because they keep asking for player feedback. I'm sure players are giving feedback. What are they doing with that information? Why do you keep asking? There are a lot of suggestions here I've seen repeatedly made over and over again by different people on the same threads and the same lines of thought, because a lot of people are seeing the same issues and kind of want the same solutions. There are easy things like the fact that when you're playing this Rosetta versus Mayfly, you cannot easily identify who is a Mayfly and who is a Rosetta. And this could have easily been fixed by adding the icons. In game, when you're chatting in world chat, you'll see that it'll have this icon beside player's name in chat. But where it doesn't have this icon is where it matters, which is right beside the player's name in game. There is no way to tell if a person is on Rosetta faction or Mayfly faction until you aim your weapon at them. And that is a terrible system to have in place, because that's an easy way to get yourself killed while you're grinding, killed while you're exploring. It's not a good system. The Northern Tour event is moving on pretty good. The next event comes on the 10th. Everything's been pretty easy so far. One not giving any star chrome. I'm not sure why. Maybe they think 2 meets ghost crates equal to 500 star chrome. It is not. Everything's been pretty simple so far. It's been just go bring some juice, go to some place and look at stuff. I think this one here was exploring one of the strongholds, the monolith sites. This one here was doing a purification, and this one here was killing the Treant boss. Also, keep in mind that as you're doing these posters are opening up, and these posters just want you to share them for a bit of Stardust source. They're all very simple. You don't even have to actually really share them anymore. You just click the share button, it'll give you Stardust source, and then there's a new trailer that has popped up here. This Way of Winter season that's coming up is sort of the Hail Mary for me. I'm gonna need them to come out and demonstrate that they've been taking feedback and they have an actual clear plan of what direction they plan to take in this game. And so far, they've been making a lot of decisions I don't agree with, especially revolving around loot boxes, but that's neither here nor there. If they make a solid game with solid features, they can do whatever they want with the loot boxes, because if you have the content there, there, then that's going to be enough to keep players playing. But every decision they made so far is slowly killing their game, from the way they've decided to handle the legacy of conflict, the way they've released this Prism vs. Clash that's very buggy, insane lag, incomplete content, very shallow structure, from the way they've been handling their communication, their patch notes. There's a lot of mistakes they're making. This game has had a very strong start, and it's being mismanaged on multiple levels. And I want to use the term mismanaged because I think there is something here. They have moments of, I would say, hope when they do things like releasing these weave fragments here, and then the weave fragments come out and they do cool things like you build them on your armor and it gives you a bit more build diversity. And I look at it and I think this is very cool. I hope this goes beyond the PvP Mayfly and Rosetta faction war. I hope this becomes some kind of dropped only item, like increased duration, you know, burn duration, increased AoE, kind of thinking along the lines of Diablo 4, Path of Exile, where you just have way more stat modifiers to deal with. A lot of these builds are limited by the fact that there's not much you can do to increase how they work. A lot of the focus has been on only damage, but there is a place where utility should come into place, where attack speed should be a factor, where duration should be a factor, where increased spread, AoE, amplifying the effect should be a factor. I would love to be able to build on more things than just damage, crit damage, weapon damage, elemental damage, you know, the basics, right? There should be way more mods to choose from. The fact that the chess piece has all defensive mods, but none of them are really interesting is a problem. I mean, I'm just hoping for a lot more things to come out of this event besides what they've shown us so far. I'm going to be giving Way Winter a chance. I am looking forward to seeing what they do. I'm going to be reading those patch notes, and I am going to be playing the first phase. But I got to tell you, if I don't see an improvement, if the new event and the new items and the server lag everything is the same, it's just more loot boxes and more of the same, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna finish this season. It might be my last season. So they have up until the first week, and then we'll decide from there. All right, well, I appreciate the support I've been getting from you guys. I have a lot of new subscribers. As you can see, the last couple of weeks, I crossed over that 500 sub threshold. I want to thank you guys for all your support. I got a lot of people there. I've been seeing their names repeatedly in the comments. Shout out to you guys for showing up there and giving support to the channel. I got a lot of respect, a lot of love. I got a lot of appreciation for what you guys have been doing, showing up here. I got a lot of videos planned coming up here. I plan on doing a few more videos for Once Human. We're starting with an efficient route of collecting all the collectibles in each of the regions. I'm going to break them down one by one. I'm going to be covering all the new collectibles as they show up in the new winter regions, and I'm going to be redoing some of the videos I've made in the past, and I think are good information there. It's just when I was learning how to do this whole process, they didn't come out in a way that was worth watching, so I'm going to improve those, re-release them, and hopefully you guys find quality from that. I'm doing corrosion again in this season, so I'm probably going to do a nice build update on my corrosion build. As you can see in the background playing there, I've been running through bosses so far, not so much trouble. I mean, my build has been done for a while now. Even though one of my mods is not where I want it to be, I've got no problem pulling out damage, right? So that's what's on the horizon here. So you guys stick around, like the video as always, subscribe to the channel if you guys have been showing up here. If you guys don't know about the YouTube analytics, the likes really help get the channel promoted. If you guys think there's a lot of good information out there and other people would benefit from hearing it, hitting that like button is all you need to do to make sure that message gets spread, right? If you guys come to the channel over and over again, you notice that you're not subscribed, help a brother out. Hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys for giving me your time. As always, have yourselves a good morning. And if this is the only video you're watching me today, a good afternoon or good night.